Now, let's remember that water is in every form. So we have three states of matter. We have a solid, a liquid, and a gas. Now, depending on what the temperature is going to depend on what that water molecule decides to be. But let's say here in a few weeks we decide to get some weather, okay? Now, the first kind of weather, which we're all very knowledgeable about, is rain. Rain is a drop of water that falls from the cloud as a drop of water. A drop of water is a liquid. Now, rain falls from the cloud as a liquid and hits the ground as a liquid. Okay? Pretty simple. Okay. All right, next we have snow. Snow is actually a solid, and it leaves the cloud as a solid, and it hits the ground as a solid. Now, why is it a solid? And that will all depend on the temperature of the atmosphere. If the atmosphere is very cold up high in the clouds, it will form as a solid and fall all the way down as a solid. If the ground is very cold, which it hasn't been lately, then that snow will stick, and that's how you get accumulation. But if the ground is warm, that snow will melt and turn into a liquid. Okay? Next, we have sleet. Sleet is probably the most confusing for kids because in the atmosphere where the clouds are, the temperature is very warm. So it leaves as a liquid, and somewhere along the way, Mother Nature decided that it's cold. And so it hits this cold patch of air and it freezes into a little tiny piece of ice. Now, as it freezes, then it falls as sleet and hits the ground as a solid. So remember, sleet leaves the cloud as a liquid and hits the ground as a solid because it froze in midair. Okay? How exciting is that? All right. And then next is freezing rain. Okay? Freezing rain starts as a liquid and falls all the way down as a liquid. However, the surface, whether that be the road, the power lines, the trees, the temperature is very cold. So as soon as that freezing rain or liquid hits that surface, it freezes immediately and turns into a solid. Why do you ask, is this dangerous? Because let's just say you're driving along the road, and you think it's just raining, and all of a sudden now there's ice on the road, but you don't see it. That's when you start to slide, and that's when wrecks happen. Okay?
Hey, Susan, what temperature would the water freeze?
What temperature would the water freeze?
Yeah.
You tell me. 32 degrees what?
Fahrenheit.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What is that in Celsius? 0?
Yeah, good job.
All right. You guys are so smart. Freezing rain, it hits and then it freezes. Okay? So remember, freezing rain leaves as a liquid, falls all the way down as a liquid, and then freezes upon contact. Okay? If the temperature is cold enough. All right. And then we have, and pardon my little bit of accent, we have what's called hail. Did I say that correctly?
Yes. Sounded good enough.
Hail. Okay? Hail. Let's discuss how hail is formed.
Okay.
Inside this cloud, there's a lot of stuff going on. It could start off as a water droplet, and then what happens is that water droplet gets pulled up because this is a pretty massive cloud, and then it's warmer down here and colder up here, so as that water droplet comes up here, it freezes into a solid piece of ice, and then it'll come back down. Now, depending on how strong this cloud is, then that piece of ice now can get pulled back up, and it'll be adding another layer of ice, and then it happens over and over, and then every time that piece of ice goes back up into this cloud, it adds another layer of ice. Now, at some point, it's going to become so heavy that this cloud can no longer sustain it, So it falls down as a piece of hail.
Excellent.
Okay?
Mhm.
Now, hail can be tiny or it can be big. It can be softball size. It can be grapefruit size. The bigger the piece of hail, then the stronger the cloud was that produced that piece of hail. So you have to remember, hail starts as it falls from the cloud as a solid and it hits the ground as a solid. Okay? All right.